is Tatiana Demlovskaya. I am the Regional Director of the Vancouver chapter of Canada-Eurasia Chamber of Commerce. Welcome everyone to our seminar. And I would like to give you a little bit of background, how we came to the point organizing this gathering this morning. As you know, our organization is promoting a Canadian business in Eurasia region. It's a fairly large region, and we are active in many countries, but we cannot be active everywhere. So Armenia, from this perspective, is a fairly new market for us. Our members started experiencing interest to this country probably in the last year, and we were discussing with the Armenian embassy a possibility to actually do some activities around some of the major market sectors between Canada and Armenia. And the major boost for this interest came up when a Canadian embassy was finally opened in Yerevan in October last year. So this is the background, and we are really looking forward to work with this incredibly interesting country. I have some very personal connections with Armenia because some of my relatives have families with Armenian people. So that's a little bit of the personal touch here. We gathered here today to talk a little bit about the opportunities which are currently existing in the Republic of Armenia for the Canadian businesses, and about the business mission which we are currently discussing with our partners. It's Canadian embassies in Moscow and I hope in Yerevan, and Armenian embassy to Ottawa, who I really appreciate for all their support and flexibility they're providing to us, and for the new contacts they help us to build up on the Armenian side. So to start our session today, I would like to make a couple of household notes, so you know how this session will proceed. Just to let everyone know, this session is organized in a meeting format, which means that I ask you to kindly mute yourself if you are not speaking. But if you are speaking, please don't forget to unmute yourself, right? So the session has a few presentations, and after that, we will be running the Q&A session. Please send us your questions in the chat. I hope everyone knows now how to use Zoom. If you go underneath of your screen, you have a little icon called chat. So you click on it and type your question. Please indicate to who of our speakers this question will be addressed. If you will be interested in any of the materials that we are going to discuss today, all the presentations and the video record of this session will be available online a few days after this event. Probably beginning next week, you will be able to see it if you would like to revisit some of the topics that we are going to discuss. And now let's just start our session. I would like to introduce our first speaker, Margaret Skok. She is the member of the CECC National Board of Directors. Margaret is a senior fellow at Carleton University and has over 30 years experience with the government of Canada. We work with Margaret for a very long period of time. I personally really grateful for all her support, which she's provided to us as a diplomat and as the exceptional business consultant. And now I would like to pass the welcome remarks to Margaret. Margaret, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. C'est vraiment un plaisir pour moi d'être ici parmi vous. It is, in 1992, I was privileged to be in Yerevan when we established our first diplomatic relations with Armenia. Much has changed since then. After United States and France, Canada was a significant country for Armenian diaspora, beginning with the 1800s. First in Ontario and then later in Quebec. They contributed to our agriculture sector. And we always talk about commercial sectors, but one of the commercial sectors which contributes to GDP is the cultural sector. So who can forget, and we're going to claim him, Canada's Atam Egoyan and his films. And we can't forget the Armenian contribution to the Cannes Film Festival with a series of films. And then their membership in La Francophonie. It's been a long journey, frozen conflicts, real conflicts, refugees, but we reinforced our diplomatic relationship with Armenia in October with the recent appointment of Canada's Ambassador Andrew Turner to Armenia. Congratulations. I think he has to build the embassy from the ground up. We will look to cooperation there. We are very fortunate to have with us today representatives from both the Armenian embassy and also the Canadian embassy to Moscow, Jennifer Rodrigue, who will be critical, particularly in light of recent reforms in an emergent democracy. Canada now has economic, commercial, and academic opportunities to grow our bilateral relationship. This is a critical time in both of our countries' future. And I think Jennifer will be able to elaborate some of those important opportunities, specifically in the extractive, ICT, and education sectors. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I think it is up to you now. Voilà, merci. Спасибо.
Thank you, Margaret. I now would like to introduce a group of speakers from the Canadian Embassy in Moscow. It's a trade commissioner's team who's responsible for the trade and economic relations with Armenia. And first, I would like to introduce Jennifer Rodrigue. She's a senior trade commissioner. She joined the embassy in August 2022, and she previously served in Colombia, China, Malaysia, and Mexico. The other speaker on this group will be Elena Kuchereva. She is also a trade commissioner with experience of over 15 years at the Canadian Embassy, and she's covering multiple sectors, including mining, aerospace, automotive, life science, and some other sectors. And the other speaker who will also participate at this presentation is Alexandra Konusheva, who joined the team at the Canadian Embassy in Moscow in February 2020. She is responsible for education, ICT, creative art industries, and responsibility for Armenian markets. So now I'm passing this virtual stage to Jennifer. That's yours.
Thank you, Tatiana, and thank you, Margaret, for the kind introductions. My name is Jennifer Rodrigue. I'm the Senior Trade Commissioner at the Embassy of Canada in Moscow. It's a real pleasure for my colleagues and I to be here today. So during the course of our presentation, we'll give you a brief overview of Armenia. We'll discuss sectoral opportunities in the education, ICT, and in the mining sector. And we'll conclude by just talking very briefly about the Canadian Trade Commissioner Service and how we may be able to assist you in pursuing opportunities, not only in Armenia, but also globally. To start, I'd like just to give you a quick snapshot of Armenia. So Armenia is an upper middle income country located in the
I'm
South
sorry,
Caucasus.
I'm really sorry. I'll jump for a second. Does anyone see I'm sharing a screen with presentation?
Yes, you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Alexandra. We see it quite well. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just not the right slide. So if you can move it to the snapshot, that would be great. Thank you. Yeah, so as I was saying, so Armenia, it's an upper middle income country located in the South Caucasus. It shares borders with Turkey, Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Iran. It has a population of almost 3 million people and a per capita GDP of a little over $7,000 US. Over a third of Armenia's population resides in Yerevan, in the capital, making it like the main market in the country, but also a leading hub in terms of conducting business. Nearly all businesses and businesses that are in Armenia have a presence in Yerevan. If we look at the key sector in the Armenian economy, it includes the ICT, manufacturing, agriculture, construction, and mining. Armenia, it's a small market that has faced some long-term geographical and also some geopolitical challenges. That includes, among other, the closure of 2 of its 4 international borders. So the border with Turkey and Azerbaijan are closed. But despite those challenges, Armenia continues, the economy continues to perform well. In 2022, real GDP growth reached 12.6%. So that was boosted by robust growth in the construction and services sectors, but also by migrant inflows, including from Russia, improvements in the business environment, as well as some large positive capital flows. Economic growth for 2023 is estimated at 7%. And if we look at the period of 2024-2028, real GDP growth, or the average, is forecasted at 5%. In recent years, Armenia has been making significant effort to improve its business environment. So since 2018, Armenia has actively engaged in a wide range of reform in the justice sector, healthcare, and also social protection system. In May 2022, Armenia approved a public sector reform strategy to be implemented in 3 phases until 2030 that will be focused on public service delivery, digital infrastructure, as well as data policy. And the government economic and anti-corruption reforms have improved the business environment, but also the competitive landscape in the country. To support the economic growth, Armenia is seeking to become a land-linked country. So that means that they are investing in major infrastructure projects to increase the country's air, land, rail, as well as logistic connectivity. It's estimated that approximately 85% of the goods that are imported in Armenia by surface carriers are transiting through Georgia, and mainly through the port of Poti and Batumi. Increasing labor productivity through having higher skill labor force, it's another priority of the Armenian government. This presents some opportunity for Canada, particularly in terms of corporate and vocational training. And my colleague Alexandra will talk a little bit more about this later in the presentation. Another priority of the government is the economic modernization program, under which the state offers support programs for companies to enhance their operation through the purchase of new equipment and new technologies. So that includes subsidized credit and leasing. There's also some programs to support the manufacturing of economically complex products, as well as program to attract highly qualified foreign specialists. Armenia is also seeking to diversify its trade and investment relations. So if we look at international partnerships, so Armenia is a member of the World Trade Organization, of the Eurasian Economic Union, and it also signed a comprehensive and enhanced partnership agreement with the European Union in 2017. If we look at Canada-Armenia agreements, we have in place a foreign investment promotion and protection agreement, an agreement on trade and commerce, as well as an agreement to avoid double taxation. Armenia's most important trading partners are Russia, China, and United Arab Emirates. Given the current geopolitical situation, Armenia is seeking to reduce its dependency on Russia. And so this is creating some opportunities for Canada. As you can see on the screen, merchandise trade between our countries is modest, so reaching almost $37 million in 2022. And if we look at 2023, the period of January to October, so that period we have some statistics available, it's a little over $17 million. As was mentioned before, we're seeking to expand ties with Armenia, and notably this is done through the opening of the embassy in October 2023. We are seeking to expand our commercial relations, and that's one of the reasons we're here today. There are some opportunities for Canada and Armenia in a number of sectors, and my colleagues Alexandra and Elena will give you a brief overview of opportunities in the education, ICT, and mining sector. And so now I'll just pass the floor to Alexandra, who will talk about the education sector.
Thank you, Jennifer. So the Armenian education sector is currently undergoing a major transformation, with the government trying to address the most significant challenges, outdated curricular, low share of STEM education, and mismatch between the formal qualifications of graduates and skills sought by employers. The newly adopted Armenian education strategy, which was approved in November 2022, aims at developing an effective and internationally competitive education system and puts significant emphasis on internationalization, meaning Armenian education institutions will be intensifying their international cooperation in the upcoming years. This new educational strategy, which encourages international cooperation, could present a good opportunity for the Canadian institutions to enter the market and offer their services, curriculum expert training programs, students exchanges, and others. The Ministry of Education is committed to transforming the educational system, putting in additional mechanisms and funds to support its modernization, like STEM scholarship for students, funding for research, funding for purchasing equipment for labs, university research centers, and others. That education now is a big priority for the country's economy and for the education system, with particular emphasis being placed on dual education and work-based learning. International cooperation is very welcome by the government in this area as well. So it could be a good opportunity for the Canadian educational institutions, which have ready to export programs and trainings. Programs in IT and agriculture might be of a particular interest for the Armenian market, as in these fields, Armenia is seeking to develop local talent in order to support the modernization of its economy. There is definite interest from students, government officials, and universities in collaborating with Canadian institutions. For us, education is, as a trade team, is also a priority. We see increasing opportunities in this market, and we will be dedicating our resources at exploring them, expanding our network, and helping Canadian institutions that like to access this market. Now also briefly about ICT sector of Armenia. Armenia has a very rapidly growing ICT sector. It has recorded a significant growth in recent years, around 20% annual growth. There are over 3,000 companies actively operated in ICT sector, employing over 2,000 workers. According to recent industry reports, approximately a third of these companies claim some foreign ownership, and international companies account for roughly half of all employees in this sector. Armenia also has produced a few large-scale companies on its own. For example, PixArt, which produces photo and video editing app, which was founded in 2011 and has headquarters San Francisco, Yerevan, and several offices around the world, including one in Toronto, Canada, and is currently valued at $1 billion. Key subsectors in Armenian ICT sector would include customized software, web design and development, IT services and consulting, mobile app development, computer graphics, and multimedia. Emerging areas for which Armenian ICT companies are interested in exploring opportunities to sustain their growth include data science, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity. ICT is a priority sector for the Armenian government. In 2019, Armenia's Ministry of High Technologies, High Industry was established. It's responsible for a wide range of activities in this sector, including digitalization and cybersecurity issues. Armenian government also launched a digitalization strategy till 2025. And with this strategy, the government is seeking the digital transformation of the economy and society through introduction and development of innovative technologies, cybersecurity, data policy, e-government systems, coordination of digitalization process, and creation of common standards in these areas. This could potentially open doors for the Canadian businesses, many of which are leaders in cloud computing, cybersecurity, financial and education technologies, as well as e-health applications. The government employs a number of tools to support the fast-growing ICT sector, from tax benefits for IT companies, technology centers, free economic zones, or projects like Engineering City, which is a multi-million-dollar establishment which serves to host local and international companies and facilitates incubation of startups in the country. Armenia presents itself as a destination choice for ICT companies and technology-related investment due to its large talent pool in mathematics and natural sciences, competitive labor and operating costs, as I said, government support for this sector, as well as existing relationship with large multinational companies, part of global value chains. It holds potential for trade expansion with Canada, in particular in artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, financial and education technologies. Also, in order to excel in ICT sector, the country needs to strengthen the development of its human resources. So the educational programs in IT offered by the Canadian educational institutions might be also in demand. Armenia will showcase what it has to offer in ICT section by hosting the World Congress on Information Technology on October 2024, which is recommended for participation for the Canadian companies that would like to access the market. So this what I plan to say about ICT sector. And with this, I would pass the floor to my colleague Yelena to talk about Armenian mining sector and its opportunities.
Thank you, Alexandra. Good morning, Canada. Good evening, Armenia. Armenia is a mountainous country rich in mineral resources. There are over 560 known deposits, from which 60 types of minerals are mined. Today, the mining industry is the key sector of the Armenian economy. Deposits of copper, molybdenum, gold, silver, lead, zinc, iron, aluminium are of industrial importance. In addition to that, Armenia possesses valuable resources of critical minerals, which you see on the slide. The Republic of Armenia is the exclusive owner of mineral deposits. The deposits can be granted under a mining permit, but may not be privatized. Armenia has a long history of mineral extraction, going back to ancient times. Till now, about 95% of solid mineral deposits are exploited by open pit mining. For many years, the mining practices were far from ideal, with little consideration given to environmental impacts and interests of local communities. These created legacy issues and contributed to opposition within the Armenian civil society to the development of mining projects in the country. To overcome these challenges and improve the image of the country's mining industry, the government of Armenia and the Armenian civil society, with the support of international organizations, primarily the World Bank, are working to bring into the country the best international ESG practices and make the industry more transparent and open to foreign investment and international cooperation. In May 2023, the Armenian government adopted a strategy to modernize the domestic mining industry by 2035. The government is also implementing a program of modernization of the economy, which was already mentioned by Jennifer. Under this program, significant subsidies up to 35% can be allocated for purchasing equipment in all sectors, including mining. Armenia's recent accessions to the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative helped improve the transparency, accountability, and corporate governance in the sector. I would also like to mention the newly created International Chamber of Mines of Armenia, and I see two of its co-founders on this webinar. I'm very glad to see them. Some of the co-founders are Armenian Canadians, and this organization is planning to hold international events in mining, and we would like to collaborate with them. Our Trade Commission office provides support to the already established and new Canadian mining companies in the Armenian market. We are also in contact with the local and international stakeholders in the mining sector, gathering market intelligence and looking for opportunities. On the slide, you can see the summary of opportunities that have been identified. Potential for various new mineral resources, including critical minerals. Mining industry is a strategic government priority. There's a need for expertise to comply with international environmental and health standards. Local and international mining companies are lacking modern equipment and technology. In fact, more than half of the Armenian mining companies are using outdated equipment, and almost all are lacking environmentally friendly technologies. There's also high demand for qualified personnel, and this is an opportunity for education and training, for training programs which are aimed at increasing the skills of local communities, but also training programs to boost productivity by bringing modern mining practices and technology. On behalf of the authorities, there is a need for solutions to tackle legacy liabilities related to reclaiming, rehabilitating, or remediating mines, adjacent areas, and facilities. To conclude, I would like to note that the mining industry of Armenia is currently in transition to more predictability. Since 2018, the Armenian government has been revising its policy, paying more attention to environmental protection and sustainability. There is a growing understanding that without responsible mining practices, there will be challenges to energy transition. Armenia regards the mining sector as a major driver of its economy and is open to mutually beneficial partnerships. Thank you, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
And now I'd like to briefly talk about the Trade Commissioner Service. So we are an organization that exists for over 125 years now. We help companies to grow globally. We have a network of 1,000 trade commissioners across Canada, internationally, in 160 cities. We can help you prepare for international market, to provide insights on markets that are of interest to you, provide some practical advice to do business, open doors, introduce you to qualified contacts, solve complex business problems. We're hoping to have an underground presence in Yerevan later in 2024. For the moment, we continue to provide support through our trade commissioners that are based in Moscow. So that's the team that is here today. As you can see on the screen, the Trade Commissioner Service also provides some funding. So we have the Can Export program, as well as the Canada International Innovation Programs, and some business support in terms of trade missions, events that we are organizing. And so this is just a very quick summary of what we can do to support you in your pursuit of business opportunities abroad. And just to conclude, just please keep us in mind, the Trade Commissioner Service, what we have to offer, and don't hesitate to get in touch with us. You'll see on the screen shortly our contact information, and we look forward to connecting with you as part of the upcoming business mission, but also on any other occasion. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you for this very comprehensive information. It's not that easy actually to find condensed information about these market sectors from the other sources. So thank you so much for putting together this presentation. Can I? Yeah. Okay, thank you. So now I would like to introduce the other group of speakers, and those are our partners from Armenia. Before introducing this, our speakers, I would like to mention that we have quite substantial representation today from Armenia, despite on the very late time in Yerevan right now. We have people from the Government Investment Agency and Enterprise Armenia. I see the investment director, Mr. Aram Vardanyan, is online with us. Thank you for being here. And also International Chambers of Mines of Armenia. I personally recently had a very good conversation with the executive director, with Artyom Gimayan. I see Artyom here online also, and there are other people from this organization as well. Thank you so much, guys. And now I would like to introduce our speakers. Second Secretary of the Embassy of the Republic of Armenia to Canada, Gor Yidigaryan. He is responsible for a number of very important sectors for bilateral economic cooperation. And the other speaker who we have in this group is Tavirik Nersesyan. She is serving as at the Enterprise of Armenia for investment promotion and foreign as an investor promotion and foreign relations manager. So Gor, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. As it was rightly mentioned, good morning, Canada, and good evening, Armenia, and good evening, Russia as well, from Moscow to our colleagues. And as Tavirik is the more competent person to have the presentation, I will pass the floor to her. And afterwards, if there are any questions, I will be very happy to answer. Thank you.
Good morning and good evening to everyone. I will share my screen. Can you see that? Ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and a privilege to address this esteemed audience and to present you an overview of Armenia's investment climate with the aim of exploring new avenues for collaboration and partnership. I am confident that by the end of this presentation, you will have gained a comprehensive understanding of the opportunities awaiting you in the Republic of Armenia. Before we delve into the specifics of Armenia's business environment, allow me to provide a brief introduction to our country. As our previous speaker said, Armenia is a parliamentary republic with an area of spanning 29,000 square kilometers and a population nearing 3 million. Geographically, it holds a strategic position at the crossroads of East and West. The national language is Armenian, while English and Russian are widely spoken. Now, transitioning to the core of our discussion, let us examine the structure of Armenia's GDP, which stands at 20 billion euros. Over the years, Armenia has consistently recorded strong economic growth ratings of 6–7%. While the global events of 2020 did affect our economy, by 2021, we rebounded with a growth rate of 5.7%, followed by a record-breaking figure of 20%. And this trend continues during 2023, and we registered 9.47% growth. The primary contributors to our GDP encompass agriculture, construction, industry, and last but not least, the biggest portion goes to trade and services with huge drivers of IT and tourism within it. And this brings us to the actual subject matter being evaluated above, the FDI legislation. Armenia's FDI legislation is among the most flexible and friendly among emerging markets. Foreign nationals doing business in Armenia have the right to 100% ownership of the resident legal entities in Armenia. Investors, regardless of their citizenship, receive equal treatment unless a more favorable regime is provided by a respective treaty. Investors have virtually unrestricted access to any location and sector throughout the country. Resident legal entities owned by foreign nationals have the right to purchase land, and foreign citizens as individuals can have long-term lease contracts. Additionally, there are no restrictions on remittances, repatriation of profit, exchange of currencies, and self-recruitment. Furthermore, Armenia is in an active stage of opening to the wider world through an extensive economic engagement. As such, we are establishing reliable and long-term partnership with multiple countries. As of now, Armenia has 43 bilateral investment treaties with a diverse list of countries stretching from Argentina to Romania, Italy to USA, and from Germany to UAE. Double taxation avoidance agreements are in place with 51 countries. We also take the safety of our investors seriously. Armenia is a signatory of the International Convention of Investment Disputes. Additionally, Armenia is a member of Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, which provides political risk insurance to investors. Armenia has adopted a multi-vector trade strategy, resulting in a diverse export portfolio and an open economy. While our domestic market may appear limited to with 3 million consumers, Armenia's membership in the Eurasian Economic Union serves as a gateway to nearly 185 million consumers. The union's combined GDP is more than $2 trillion. Additionally, the union has free trade agreements with Vietnam, Singapore, and Serbia. Armenia maintains free trade agreements with CIS countries and Georgia that include zero or reduced import tariffs. The preferential trade regime of GSP takes in place with countries such as US, Japan, Canada, Switzerland, and Norway, which means that 3,500 products are exempt from duties while entering these markets. The government of Armenia strives to further diversify the structure of exports destinations-wise. Alongside our traditional trade partners, EU member states, EU is our second biggest partner. Armenia is rapidly gaining steady foothold in the new markets such as Eastern Asia, namely China, and the Middle East, especially the Gulf states. In 2022, Armenia has witnessed an exceptional export growth of 77%, reaching over $5 billion. Our exports are predominantly comprised of minerals and related products and processed food. The export growth from January to October is 38%. Armenia is committed to creating a more favorable tax environments for investors. The profit tax, the profit tax is reduced from 20% to 18%. The value-added tax is at 20%, and the personal income tax has progressively reduced from 23% to 20% from 2020. Beyond its attractive tax rates, Armenia provides an array of tax incentives. There is a whole mechanism spanning across different sectors, providing exemptions from VAT and income taxes for IT, medical sector, and border-adjacent communities. Armenia has 4 free economic zones where residents are exempt from corporate taxes. As part of our modernization efforts, several government support programs have been introduced, including up to 70% wage reimbursement for companies hiring high-quality specialists and individuals with academic degrees from leading global universities. The Infrastructure in Exchange for Investments program, offering support for investments in the form of infrastructure development, subsidies for credit and leasing of new equipment and device purchases, and state support program for companies producing complex goods. These are the sectors that we believe be the most potential for our foreign investors. Armenia is in transition to more technologically advanced economy and modernization of economic sectors, and it is imperative to emphasize the advancement of our IT and just a few slides to showcase it. It is vivid that Armenia is becoming a tech powerhouse of the region. Here we present just a glimpse of multinational corporations that have made Armenia as their destination of choice. Notably, industry giants such as Siemens, Adobe, AMD, EPAM, and numerous others have recognized the immense potential and opportunities that our thriving tech ecosystem offers. Furthermore, it is imperative to emphasize the transformative nature of the past years. Notably, our industry bore witness the entry of major players with global giants like Boston Gene, Microchip, Keywords, and several others choosing to establish their presence within our burgeoning ecosystem. In addition to these remarkable achievements, it is noteworthy to recognize our flourishing IT sector. Beyond the influx of industry leaders, our startup landscape has given rise to a diverse range of innovative enterprises, culminating in the recognition of our very first unicorn. Even more impressively, we witnessed the emergence of 2 more unicorns, poised to make significant contributions to our growing technological landscape. With these substantial developments across our industry, it is clear that we have not only made strides, but are well positioned for sustained growth and success in the years to come. Just to reiterate, Enterprise Armenia is the national investment promotion agency operating under the single window principle. From attracting investors to providing aftercare services, we are committed to supporting your success in Armenia, and our services are not only reliable, but also entirely free. Thank you.
Thank you, Tatevik. I hope there will be some questions to discuss further on our session. So now I will do a small overview of what we actually would like to offer to our audience for consideration in terms of the business mission that we are discussing actively now with a number of our partners and the stakeholders. Just let me to share my screen. Okay, can everyone see it? All right. So yeah, just a little overview of what we would like to offer, because we started discussion of this business mission to Armenia actually last year. And there was an intention to do it actually in April last year and then in September, but then we decided to wait until the Canadian Embassy has official opening in Yerevan, because it definitely will is giving much more attraction to the people to actually consider these opportunities and a strong support on the ground that we can use to organize what we would like to organize. So a little bit about the CECC International Business Missions. Our organization, as the Canada-Eurasia Chamber of Commerce, does quite a lot of business missions, and over many years, almost 20 years of our existence, we've done probably thousands of the missions. So that is something which we are doing pretty much on the consistent basis, and there is certain experience of what we think is useful for our delegates to do, and how to prepare to the business missions when we have them organized. So I just gave a little bit of statistics and what we usually try to accomplish. I would like to specifically focus on the outcomes, because we are not really interested to take a group of people who just would like to do sightseeing. We are a business organization, and we value our time and the time and money of our members who participates in such activities. And for us, the most important is to make sure that these business missions are actually bringing some outcomes, tangible outcomes, which can help our members to develop their business and expand their business in the destinations where we bring them. So here, just a few companies who were traveling with us in the last couple of years. Yes, the pandemic period of time was extremely difficult because all the travels were paralyzed. Basically, we couldn't do anything, just the online kind of gatherings that we did a lot. But beginning 2021, we were able to do some travels, and we brought companies to the countries like Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Uzbekistan. So those companies which I mentioned, they are just some of those who were traveling with us in the last couple of years. In terms of Armenia, I would like to mention that there were few of our members to whom we already helped to organize the individual business trips to that destination, and I'm really grateful to the Armenian Embassy for assisting in that. So that's something which we could test a little bit, and we see that you know, we have a very strong support on the Armenian side. So basically, I think that Armenia is now a destination where we need to capture the opportunities which are still untapped by Canadian companies. I would not repeat what the previous speakers say, but besides of being the CECC mandate country, it's a very interesting market sector, which I think would have been extremely interesting to further investigate and see what we can do there. There are certain developments in Armenia that makes us sure that this is what we would like to do in the next period of time for helping Canadian companies to grow their business outside of Canada. And as it was mentioned by our partners from the both Embassy of Canada in Moscow and Enterprise Armenia, there are certain market sectors that very well developed in Canada, and where Canada can assist Armenia to actually meet their economic goals. So the Business Mission 2024, just a general outlook of it. We are planning to make it on the margins of the Education and Career Expo Yerevan 2024, but I don't want to, or I want to emphasize that education will not be the only sector which we would like to tackle within this mission. We would like to invite companies who are interested to offer their products or technologies in mining and mineral processing sector, in green technologies, advanced technologies. Basically, any of those market sectors could be linked with education, because there is a strong interest from Armenian side to actually learn more about various industries and how certain things are done on the Canadian side. As it already mentioned, we have very good support for organizing this business mission from the Canadian and Armenian embassies, from the association, the chambers of the International Chamber of Mines in Armenia, and Enterprise Armenia, and other stakeholders with whom we already had a preliminary discussion about the plans for the upcoming business mission. I also wanted to mention that within the CECC business missions, we have this approach to do the two-level program. What does it mean is that there will be certain activities and events meant for the whole group or for the whole delegation that we are going to put together. And there will be also the other level activities which will be done individually for each delegate company. We already tested this approach in a couple of destinations. Some of the people who are online right now, I think, experienced it. And from my point of view as an organizer of such business missions, I think it's a very effective way of achieving the business goals of those companies who are traveling with us. The program highlights, because we are taking the business mission to Armenia for the first time, we would like to do some preparatory activities as well to introduce some specifics of the Armenian market that we would like to bring to the attention of the Canadian companies. We will, on the ground, we will have a possibility for the Armenian companies to display their information at the exhibition booth. We would like to negotiate with Expo Yerevan about having a joint booth for the whole delegation. We also will provide an opportunities for the delegation to present each of the companies to the Armenian private sector. We will see how to do it more effectively. It may be some kind of standalone event outside of the trade show or within the trade show. It depends on how the trade show will be organized. We are planning to do the roundtable with the local Armenian stakeholders, and I hope the embassies will assist us in doing that to understand better how to penetrate the Armenian market, what are the features of it, and what the companies who would like to launch their activities in Armenia need to know to be successful there. We will also work on the, as I mentioned, individually tailored B2B matchmaking meetings. Sometimes those meetings are organized in one place. Sometimes it's individually for each companies to visit the potential partners on the ground. We will see how it will work in Armenia. In various countries, it actually works differently. And we also hope that there will be a possibility for visits to educational institutions and the companies on the ground in Armenia, in Yerevan, or maybe outside of Yerevan. And of course, we are usually provide the post-mission follow-up and assistance for those who need such assistance, because we fully understand that 3 or 4 days business mission, it's not enough to resolve all the questions or interests. And this is what we are going to help with to the companies who would like to join this business mission. So that's general information that I wanted to deliver to you just to start our further conversation later on after this event and then. We will be sending invitations and collecting the preliminary interest from the companies in the next couple of 3 weeks. So you may expect us to be in touch with you. And here is the contacts of the people who will be driving this project. It's myself, Tatiana Danlovskaya. I am the regional director again of CECC Vancouver, and Taranjit Singh. He's also online today. He's a project manager, which is helping us with organizing this this event. So thank you for the attention. And if you have any questions, then let's now see what I have in our chat. All right, so I have a message from Robert Schaffer. That's thanks very much. The Trade Commissioner system is spectacular. So I rely on it in many locations and countries. Thank you so much for this remark. Okay, for Jennifer Rodriguez, I'm a founder, president of BC India Business Council. This is Vivek Savkur. Thank you, Vivek, for being online with us. I wish to offer ECG services, which we are doing internationally. How do we proceed?
Okay.
Jennifer?
Yes, yes, thank you for the question. I think my colleague Elena will be able to provide a little bit more details on that question. But I think what I would suggest, so that we better understand like your companies, what service you have to offer. Like we're happy to connect offline. I think that would probably be best here. But I think Elena, maybe if you want to say a few words in terms of ESG and what would be like some of the ways to enter the market.
Yes, thank you, Jennifer. Well, as Jennifer noted, we would like to learn more about your organization and what you have to offer. For the start, but as a part of the government of Canada and as an embassy, we are in the position to approach the government of Armenia and to introduce to the relevant ministry whatever you have to offer. And this way you will be able to talk to the people responsible, people who are involved in the introduction of the new technologies into the mining sector. So please get in touch with us with more information and we will see what can be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. And there is one question, I think it's to all of us who were speaking and organizing. It's from Dmitry Alimayev. Need to talk in more details on mining sector. So Dmitry, please connect with us, connect with me about what kind of questions do you have. I am happy to reach out to those people who will be able to comment on your questions. Just to let everyone know that Dmitry is very active in Eurasia. It's Canam Pipe and Services company, which is a large distributor of multiple products for the mining industry. And we had a very successful trip to Mongolia this the last year, and I hope that there will be the equally successful trip to Armenia as well. So Dmitry, please reach out. Let's discuss what exact questions do you have, and we will be prepared to compile a package of information for you.
And if I may, Tatiana,
yes.
I welcome Dmitry to get in touch with us Please write whatever you would like to know about Armenia to the addresses provided by Jennifer, and we will be happy to assist.
Okay, anyway, I will contact Tatiana first, and maybe I gain all the addresses, all the contacts through you, because it's the same way we've done in Mongolia last year, and that worked.
Okay, I also have a message, a question from Inna Popova. Hi, Tatiana. McGill School of Continuing Studies collaborates with many universities and organizations internationally in various ways. What is the best way to start establishing collaboration with Armenian universities? I will connect with you, Inna, to further discuss this. I think we will be establishing contacts with the universities ahead of the business mission travel there. I don't know if you are considering to be a part of the mission, or you just would like to develop your connections being on the ground in Canada. This is something which we need to discuss as well. But I think that both Canadian Embassy and Armenian Embassy will be helping us to identify the right ways of how to do it in Armenia, because we have an experience of doing certain connections in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan and Mongolia. So I hope we will develop the approach in Armenia for these activities as well.
Okay, we'll reach out separately and we can talk.
Okay. So there is a message from the International Chambers of Mines Armenia, from Artyom. As I mentioned during our last conversation, ICMA is well positioned to bring in together mining and metal companies in Armenia and other industry stakeholders to have a separate event in possible mining and energy transition. We have ICMA co-founders Rafi Bagdiyan and Vikan. Sorry, I'm not really good with the names, participating in today's discussion. Yes, I saw these people. Thank you so much for joining it. If there are interested parties, we can discuss this further. Please get in touch with ICMA on our website. Thank you, Artyom. We definitely will be in touch with you. And I think with the questions which will be coming up from the industry sectors, we will definitely need your assistance. Daniel Choney, it's our very long-term partner within the CECC. He used to be deputy director of the Patterson High School in Vancouver. He is saying that school years of education and capacity development. I am in BC educator who wishes to contribute to education and training initiatives. Thank you, Daniel. It's your experience is absolutely exceptional, and I will be trying to see who we can partner you with to make sure that you have an access to the Armenian educational sector. Any other questions to us in the meantime?
Good question, Tatiana. How many Armenian students currently study in Canada? Does anyone have an idea?
I think that may be a question to either educational institutions that we have online, or if either of the embassies maintain these statistics.
Tatiana, yes, okay, yes, Alexandra, yes, if you can jump in, I know you have the information.
Well, yeah, I have the most recent statistics based on study permits that were given to the Armenian students. However, study permits only count for long-term programs. So those are coming on short terms are not in this statistic, but from January to September 2023, 60 Armenian students were studying in Canada.
Thank you.
So,
We have
Yeah,
another.
60, right?
60, yes. And
Okay.
overall, there are around, I think, 7,000 Armenian students currently studying abroad, with the most popular destinations being Russia, Germany, France, and United States.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Margaret, you also wanted to say something.
Oh, yeah, I did. I just wanted to confirm that indeed it would be both the Embassy of Armenia and the Embassy of Canada. That would be the best for statistics. And Alexandra just noted that. I did have a question. Oh, no, it's actually a comment, not something to be answered today, but on the business side, not the education side. Given Canada's sanctions, as well as EU and Britain's sanctions, if Canadian we have to look at this, and the question would be to the Embassy of Armenia and also to our own. If there is equipment, technologies, anything to be transported from Canada, we would need to know, companies would need to know the transit routes, which would not obviate or conflict with our sanctions policy, which is different than the EU and UK policy. The sanctions in UK and EU allow transit of products through Russia if there are no stops. Canadian sanctions do not permit that. So it's just something that Canadian companies would need to know in terms of shipment of product at a later date, but that's something that the governments would have to give us information on. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, I think we have Jory International. At least I saw them registering for this event. It's a logistic company, so probably this is something which they could be aware of. Right,
except we need the two governments pronouncement on it. Yeah, we have logistics companies, but the logistic companies need to know what the routing is that, for example, Armenia has been using. Thank you.
Okay, so I have the one last comment in chat which I am going to take. Just a second.
I'm sorry, Tatiana, can I jump in?
Just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, please, Gore.
I will try just to add up information with regards to the previous questions. So for the education sector, there is no specific statistic of Armenians studying, because there are many Armenians that have Armenian roots. So we are not talking about the Armenian citizenship here. So of course, there are many hundreds of Armenians studying in various universities of Canada, and most of them are citizens of Canada. So, for example, in U Ottawa or Carleton University here, most of them are Canadian citizens, but Armenians by their origin. So for the shipments of products, I understand that the most shipments are coming for Georgia and through ports, and this is the information that we can try to have a look, of course, and try to check with our colleagues in Yerevan, in the capital, and we can have the comprehensive information sent to you. And this is for that part. And with regard to education, question from Ms. Popova. Usually we have the following tradition, and and work methods. We have been doing for the last many years. We try to connect the education institutions from Canada to Armenia so that they can establish the memorandum or the agreement of cooperation and try to discuss what are the most popular areas of cooperation. So, and in that case, I would suggest to give that, I would suggest Tatiana or any other colleagues so that they can give the list of the institutions that are interested. We can try to have the connection. And in general, just to sum up, if there are any other questions, I just put it in the chat, our contacts. You can write us and we'll try to have the comprehensive information as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Gore. Everyone who is online with us, I invite you to ask questions. We, as the kind of facilitator of the activities with Armenia in the meantime around the Canada-Eurasia Chamber of Commerce, will be happy to help you with whatever questions you may have. On education, on mining, on any other market sectors, because I know that there are quite a lot of companies now who would like to diversify their business, and Armenia might be a very interesting destination for you. So that's what I wanted to tell. Again, all the information that was presented today and the record of this session will be available online. If you need this presentation kind of individually, please get in touch with me. I think everyone knows my email address, but if you don't, then just send a message to our general email address. Just respond to the circulation letters which we sent you with the event information. Thank you again for participating in this event. I'm specifically grateful for the Armenian colleagues because we know that it's quite late in your destination. And I think we all are looking forward to be on the ground in Armenia in the next few months. Thank you. And everyone have a good day or good night, depending on where you are.